Bob DeToma?
Here.
John?
Here.
Holly?
Here.
Andy?
Here.
Lucas is not here. And Mike, one of our new members, is not here. He's on vacation. And Jeff, the VSO, is not here with us either. And Justin Stone is here. All right. So the first order of business is our reorg. So are there any nominations for, we'll just go through, we'll do chairman first, we'll do vice chairman, and then we'll do secretary. So if the chairman, is there any nominations?
I would nominate Justin to be chairman.
Good job. I second it.
You second it. Okay. Any other nominations? Nope. All right. I will do it again for another year.
Take a vote.
I'm sorry?
Take a vote.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. So can we get a vote? Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Get a vote for myself serving as chair. Bob DeToma.
Aye.
Sean.
Aye.
Holly.
Aye.
Andy.
Aye.
And Justin is aye. All right. Do it again another year. For vice chair.
I'd nominate Bob DeToma, vice chair, please.
All right. Is there a second? Is there another nomination?
Second. Something else.
I second.
Holly seconds. Okay. Do a vote for Bob to be vice chair. Sean?
Aye.
Holly?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And Justin is aye. Bob will be vice chair. And then any nominations for secretary?
I'll nominate Sean as the clerk.
Okay. Can I get a second from Andy?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll vote for Sean. Bob?
Aye.
Holly?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Sean?
Yes.
And Justin is aye. So Sean will serve as our secretary again. All right. Good job, everybody. Thank you. Moving on to our first order of business, we have the previous meeting minutes that we need to approve. Did anybody have any changes?
Move to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Get a second. Okay. Bob, for a vote.
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Holly?
Aye.
Andy?
I just found my copy. I want to look at it real quick.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. I had something marked down, but it's probably trivial.
Oh, can I just mention something while Andy's looking at his notes? I don't think Holly can vote for the minutes because she wasn't in attendance.
For the last,
That's right. I wasn't in the last meeting, so.
okay. I thought you could still vote for the minutes though, because we send them out.
Yeah, so.
I'm not 100% certain. I think to be clear, it has to be an abstention.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but somebody will correct us when they watch the video.
So if that is true, so I have Holly down as being in the roll call for last meeting.
Yeah, but we know she wasn't.
Yeah. So then that could, so Sean, then that will be a change. Then you'll need to remove Holly.
Okay.
The note that I had on here was for soldiers and sailors, and the only thing was the next meeting was June 17th. And this meeting's August 15th.
Okay.
That was the only comment I had. It's trivial, but oh well.
No, it's important. Andy, I'm sorry, Bob.
Move we accept the minutes as amended.
Yeah.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. Vote to accept the minutes as amended. Bob?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Justin is an aye. accepted the minutes, but with removing Holly's name. So next up on our agenda is funding. We got funding. Spoke with Jeff, and we have a $2,000 budget under the town administrator's line for Veterans Advisory Committee. I'm sorry, Andy, did you have something?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was shocked that we actually got a line for it.
We've been pushing Evan for it. So I'm sure he wanted me to stop asking him about funding. And I mean, $2,000 is pretty good. Bob, with it being under the town administrator's line, you and I have had a conversation about if we need a finance person or treasurer, or if this is the town is going to handle it and we'll just go through them. Do you know how that would work?
William is handling all of the procurement in town.
Okay.
And committees that handle funds normally have a treasurer. Like, for example, on the Cable Oversight Committee, there's a treasurer because there's a sizable amount of money in the special fund for cable.
Right.
I can double check with William where it's $2,000 and it's listed under the town administrator, and it's probably in the subheading under Jeff's office, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while it's under the town, the soldiers and sailors, we didn't have a line item, but we would vote on something, the whole committee, and then the town would still have to acknowledge and accept it. So is it the same now with this committee? We have a line item under the town, but they have to approve it, even though we've all voted on it?
I will double check tomorrow what the procedure should be. So
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I will send this. I have the FY23 EOI trial balance sheet, and I'll send this to you, Bob, to see if maybe that helps.
I'm also curious as to why they put it under veterans and not under trustees.
Well, there's also one for trustees.
Oh, okay.
But
Oh,
the trustees, sorry, let me get back to my email. There's roughly $190 in trustees and another $200 in a veterans gift account. And that falls under veterans service line item. So I believe that falls under Jeff.
the $190 for soldiers and sailors was a gift from Troop 107 Can Drive. And they gave us 10% of their proceeds. That's what they do every month. They chose us that month, and 190 and change came to us in the gift account. So
Okay.
that's not on the town budget.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to make some. I mean, I've got this in front of me, but I don't really understand it. So if we can just get some clarification on what we're looking at. I mean, Jeff's email is pretty straightforward. So I would say that there's about $390 in the trustees account, and then we have the $2,000. We just need to know how to use it, and if we need to get a treasurer, I think we can have that discussion next meeting, and then go on to see if we can vote at the next meeting if we need a treasurer or what. But Bob, you and I can handle that on the side and work for the next agenda meeting. Any questions on funding? I'm going to be, until we sort out how this is going to work, I'm going to be, let's get the knowledge of how we're going to use, how we can use the funds first before we start allocating funds, just to make sure that, we don't get ourselves in trouble. But I'm of the mindset that we spend it, we've got it, let's find avenues to spend it. And we've got a couple of events that we want to do coming up later in the year. And I think it'll be a perfect opportunity to use some of that money.
The worst thing to do with the budget, Justin, is leave it alone. Don't spend it, because next year they see that and give you even less.
Yep.
They'll take back what's in there and give you even less. So you have to find something to spend it on.
Exactly. And Bob, one more question. Since it's the same. I mean, since trustees and veterans are kind of intertwined now, can we use that money? I don't want to say, basically, if we have something for trustees that we want to buy, but we don't have the money in trustees, can we bring it to our committee and do it that way?
That's the question that has to be asked.
Yeah. So I think that would be the other piece as well.
But Justin, the fact that both committees are chaired by the same people and manned by the same people, that might be a problem. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's why I want to make sure, because that would be the other thing too, is if, trustees could use some help, then maybe we can.
Yeah.
There's probably a process for it, is my assumption. Bob?
I would think so.
It might be just as simple as talking to Mary, the town financial officer, and it might just be a simple transfer of one line item to another line item, but
Yeah.
not my wheelhouse. So I'll ask.
Okay.
So if I may interject, like, obviously I'm assuming if there is going to be a treasurer appointed, we're going to have some level of training or, because I mean, just thinking out loud, like, I know some of the conversations there are going to be, like, from my experience as, treasurer for multiple organizations, like, there's checks and balances that have to be done, assuming this is 1 year funding that has to be executed to get it. But I think what we said, I think there's got to be more information for the group on if we do have a budget, and then, decide voting in the future. But I think there's got to be hopefully some level of training from the town other than a bunch of documentation to read through, because this, is money is serious over.
Bob, you had a comment.
So whoever ends up as the treasurer of whichever committee the money is going to be appointed to, it's a simple matter of monthly. The treasurer would report what the balance in the bank account is. You would show $200 was spent on X, the new balance is Y, and it's pretty straightforward. Whoever became the treasurer would probably spend 10 or 15 minutes with the chief financial officer. It's not brain surgery. It's as long as you're not spending like a drunken sailor. Sorry, Sean. No, we should be all right.
Yeah. Sean, you had something?
I think because we are, we're underneath, all right, we'll say the town administrator's budget is approved at town meeting. His budget goes down, all right, to the different departments and committees. I believe, well, really, I don't think we're going to need a treasurer. I think we just have to show them what we spent the money on, really, and that's it.
We're not going to guess. I mean, we don't know what we don't know. It might be master of the law. We might have to have one, no matter how much. But I'll ask. We'll find out.
Yeah. And as Bob pointed out, there is certain things that as a committee we will have to do. I mean, we will have to report money because we do have money. It's just, at least on the annual letter that I fill out at the beginning of every year. So there's going to be some kind of accountability within the committee. We just need to understand what level of that accountability is. And then because of the two committees and how close we are, what flexibility we have there. Because once again, I don't want anybody getting in trouble, and we just need to understand how all that works. So before we make any decisions, we'll get all the inside details and go from there. Yep, Sean.
Your point about, we'll call it sharing, and I'm going to use the table tents as an example that we have for putting on the street. If we're going to make a poster that's going to be used by both committees, I mean, we're sharing. I don't see, if we need something for a trustee's announcement, for example, let's say we buy it with whatever funds we have, but we end up, again, sharing it. So I honestly don't think that's, in my opinion, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
I agree.
Always.
Better safe than sorry.
Exactly. That's the quickest way to go to jail. So. Yeah, no. So that's why we're not going to do that. So keep me out of jail. All right. Next thing on the agenda is the DAVs. So the DAV sent me, well, let me back up. I think back in June, I went out to one of their meetings in Worcester, and they sent me a list of, it's about 20 people that they have that are their members that live in Grafton. So they sent me their names and addresses. One of them has responded back to us with the introductory letter. So we already have him on our list. But the other folks, we don't. I don't know if they received letters the first time because, we weren't privy to that list. So do we want to send out letters to these individuals and just see if they're interested in signing up? Just, the same thing that we did last time. Or
A lot of those members, John, DAV members would be those that have given permission to DAV to be their representative for claims and may not want to participate in anything else. Their choice, but I think we should still approach them.
Bob?
I think whatever protocol we set up for the first round of letters, we should follow ongoing. So, it gives the veteran the opportunity to opt in or opt out.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel, I don't know if the DAV got permission from these people to send, there's a part of assumption that I'm assuming they send me the names and the addresses that they're okay. But I don't want to take that assumption further than you send out a letter and say, hey, would you like to sign up? And if they say no, then we drop it and they're not added. We don't reach out to them. If they say yes, then we add them to our list.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right. So we'll get that. I'll start working that this weekend. Next, any other questions on the DAV members? No. Okay. Bob, I'm going to turn it over to you for the Jim Gallagher Memorial event. Do you have any updates or?
Yeah. I spoke to Kevin Gallagher, his son, in the TA's office just the other day and confirmed face-to-face what Sean had already shared with me, that the family was enthusiastically on board. They were very happy that we were willing to do this for Jim's memory. I'm thinking that maybe, my own personal opinion, I'd like to plan this out ahead to take place for the first time next year.
Okay.
I don't want to be under the gun trying to race through the month of September and October and trying to pull it off and have it fall flat on its face. Because my recommendation would be, let's try and get Anzio's Pizza to come down and set up, and maybe they would donate maybe they would donate money or donate pizza. I mean, they've taken part in charity work before where they sell pizza and a portion goes to the cause. But that way we can reach out to the local media, we can promote it on the TV station, and we can just make sure that the word gets out so that we have a robust turnout. And I know Holly at one time had mentioned she thought it would be a great idea for the Scouts to be involved because it's something they could do as a group. And so that's my recommendation. I'm willing to listen to what the other members have to say.
So Bob, I agree 100% with the Scouts. Like, we got to plan this right and as much to get the Scouts up on board, because that would just be incredible. Support that. Over.
Holly, by Scouts, you mean all the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts? You can't exclude anybody.
I'm not ever excluding anyone. So
Okay.
yes.
Whatever. Sorry, open mouth, put both feet in.
No, it's just like it's just, it's a process, Andy. We got to notify the Scout leaders, and how it goes. We'll get everybody notified. So
Problem one, they have probably put together their 2024 budget, their events already, and they will have very few open weekends if you plan on having this road race or whatever it is on the weekend. You got to get to them early. If they do have open slots, they'll fill it with us. and tell us what's open, and if we want them to help, we've got to play in their ball court. But I want to find out.
Andy, I lost audio on you.
I will find out. You still got it?
I can hear you, Andy.
Okay. I have the contact list from Memorial Day that I can contact all of the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts units and find out when they do set their schedule up. If it has not been set up yet, we may have some openings. Otherwise, we're playing on what they've already put in their schedule. Okay.
Yep. Let me just bring Justin back in. He dropped out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so just some general background on Boy Scout timelines. August is the planning meeting for the budget and the timelines, but the scouting year does not start until November. So
Correct.
I just want to note that to people that really the big final steps are in November, because we don't know what scouts are coming back until registration in November. Over.
Holly, which of the Scouts organizations are you connected with?
Troop 106, I'm the treasurer, and then Troop 2019, my niece and my family's in. So I'm part of that, because with 2019, it's the female Boy
Yep.
Scout group or BSA. So I help them because I'm a female. Over.
Good job. Thank you.
Tony, are you still radio silent?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
There
Okay.
it
I
is. It was hard.
changed my speaker settings in the middle of Andy, when you were talking, Zoom just changed all my settings. I lost you. But I'm back now.
So, assuming you heard what Holly said, in addition, I will reach out to Jim's parish. I have a contact at the church nearest to Jim's house, who sends us the weekly videos of the Sunday Mass that we air in town. So I'll go through him and ask him if the church would like to get involved, and I'm sure they'd love to support Jim's family. So, yeah, if anybody has any other strong opinions, otherwise I'm voting to have it next year. Lucas is about to join.
Do you have a day or a month that you're looking at?
Sean had some ideas.
I lost like all audio there pretty early in the conversation. So
Well, my thought was the fall, only because the weather is a little more predictable, and the fact that you would potentially have more people available because kids going back to school, such as that vacation time is over and things. So that was my question to Bob. When you say next year, do you mean literally 12 months away, or are we going to just shoot for whatever works best for the various organizations that we're trying to coordinate with?
Well, yeah, we had talked about September, October 2023. So I'm thinking September, October 2024.
Okay. Yeah.
12 months to promote the heck out of it and get some
Right.
attention.
the other thing to consider is, with Veterans Day in November, do you tie it to Veterans Day? And we've talked about that before, this committee getting involved in Veterans Day. And is that, is this kind of a way that we can do that?
Doesn't really fit their programs, Justin. They have a program themselves on alternate coast for Veterans Day itself.
Mhm.
Veterans Day is not, would generally be on a weekday. It should be okay.
Yeah. So, okay. Sean, you have something?
So we talked about trying to get a little more, lack of a better word, attendance at Veterans Day events, because it happens to be whatever day November 11th is and such.
Right.
So if we plan this to be before or after,
Yeah.
then let's say we go before, then we use our advertising to also mention, hey, folks, by the way, we're coming up on Veterans Day. Can you maybe, at least get the word out that we're going to have this post. We'll be having some event. Use our advertising to advertise Veterans Day, and maybe that will get us a little more, a few more boots on the ground.
That was my thought, not actually tying the event to Veterans Day, but having it close, beginning of November, end of October kind of time frame.
I agree. And
if you do it around Halloween as well, you can tie into Veterans Day, but then you can also do crazy things like I've seen, 5K costume runs. I've seen zombie events, right? So like depending on how many people you get, you have some flexibility that you can change up the theme every year.
Yeah. I agree. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bob, I heard you say it. I don't know if anybody else. Lucas did join. I just want to get that out on the record. So any other questions or comments on the memorial event?
So, and I'm sorry, it's Holly again. I just shouldn't, and I have no problem doing this. Should we reach out to Debbie and kind of see what she thinks for a family perspective? Because for timelines, I'm just thinking out loud because it's for not only Jim, but especially the family and the younger kiddos. So I think about that. I don't know. I think I don't know if us making a WAG is necessarily the best, because regardless, we will do our best to make it work with other organizations. But I wasn't sure if this ever happened before where kind of the family helps drive that decision over.
Bob?
So what we'll do now that we've kind of pinned it down to a September, October, November timeframe, I'll go through Kevin and pass that information on so that he's aware, and then he can reach out to Debbie to keep her in the loop. When we get closer to actually announcing a date, I'm certain we're going to want to go before select board so that we can inform them that we're holding the event, and it's going to be on, town property on the municipal center campus. And we invite Kevin to come along and sit in on, on that face-to-face meeting with select board. So, because it'll get promoted that way too. We're talking about it on television. So, but yeah, we'll keep everybody in the loop.
Perfect.
Do we have, or do we intend to give out some type of award for various levels, like seniors or teenagers or kids? And what type of award would we consider giving? Would it have Jim's name on it, his picture or something? And perhaps if we are going to do something like that, ask the community through the schools to perhaps submit artwork, possible artwork that we would use on said award. Okay, gets everybody involved, the whole town, from little kids all the way up through seniors that want to draw something.
Yeah.
And let us pick something.
Yeah. One of the approaches that Bob and I have, we've done this with the 4th of July parade, is we make sure that we kind of start off small so we can control everything and kind of figure it out, and then we add things as the years go by. So we can definitely see what all of that is as we move forward. Granted, we have a bigger committee here than we do with the 4th of July parade. But yeah, we can definitely take down all those ideas and then and see what's feasible this year. And then if it's not feasible this year, then maybe next year is something, or the next one is where we add it. But I do like that idea. I like getting people involved. Bob?
When we originally discussed this, one of the things I was trying to steer clear of was an actual race.
Yeah.
With winners and awards. I was looking at setting up more of a community event where people could come and remember Jim or remember a veteran. And one of the things that I fall back on is when I participate in Go Ruck events, one of the things that the cadre asks the participants to do is to bring a photograph of a soldier who lost his life in battle, or his or her life in battle. Or in my instance, the first time I participated, I brought a photograph of a Special Forces soldier from Holliston who took his own life. So, and maybe that's what we could do. We could say, come to the gym, come and participate. It's not a race, it's not a competition. Bring a photo of somebody you want to remember. Bring a photo of somebody who, struggled and took their life, or fought in combat and lost their life, and kind of play it up that way, which probably, now that I think about it, would probably tie in better with, Veterans Day.
Yeah. I want to, I like the idea of to celebrate somebody, whether they, as you mentioned, they've passed or they're still alive, maybe they're deployed right now. And I do like the idea of, you can always ask the kids, hey, we're going to do this event, and, can you draw some pictures that we can put up for Veterans Day, and you can celebrate those kind of things. So I think that there is some town involvement. I'm sorry.
Kids to come and participate with the family and dress up in their best G.I. Joe outfit.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that there's a lot of ways that we can go with this. But I am going to be that, and Bob, you know how I am with this. So we'll be that, we'll set up some boundaries, and we'll only take on what we can, and we'll go from there. But if everybody is pitching in with this, there's no reason why that we can't make this a great event. Sean, do you have something?
Mario?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, Bob, for your ruck events, in the end, do they have a refreshment station or something to that effect, or?
No, but we should.
Well, because I'm thinking, typically I don't know much about walks. I've only participated in races, and at the end of every race, they have a table with, bananas, granola bars, whatever, bottles of water, etc. So our first go round, if we can either buy or get donations of that sort of thing, and if we're doing it at the Municipal Center campus, and the senior center still has their tent outside, maybe we can, they'll allow us the use of that area, again, like I said, for, a refreshment and such as that.
Yeah, because at the finish line of the 5K, the Grafton gazebo, the local banks set up their gazebo, their little booths, and they hand out water, they handed out chocolate milk, there was bananas, there was yogurt. So if we can reach out to those organizations and ask them to participate, we can set that up anywhere. And then if we're advertising people, look, it's a family event, bring the whole family, bring the kids, and at the end of the course, the pizza truck will be right there, or the maybe not the shave ice in November, but make it one to stick around.
I'll try to make this a final word, my final word. If it's going to be going towards DAV, are we going to solicit donations or a registration fee for not a T-shirt or something to that effect? Go ahead.
We can't solicit funds. That was made clear right from the get-go when these two committees were stood up.
Okay.
And I reached out to the town administrator to get clarification. So if we are going to request people to make a donation of any size, the organization who would receive the funds would actually collect the funds.
Yeah.
Right.
And
okay. Okay.
That could be something where we ask.
Hold on. Everybody's stepping on each other. Hold on.
Yeah. So, and Sean, to that point, that could be something that we ask the Gallaghers. Hey, is there somebody that you would like, whether it's the DAV, the Legion, is there some veteran organization that you would like funds to go to? And then we can always put that in the advertisement. If you want to donate, here's where the funds need to go. Holly, you had something?
Yeah, like as a backup, I know Jim loved watching Grafton sports and stuff, and that's prime time for football. And I bet the football teams would be more than happy to set up a concessions and parent volunteers or whatever, and not, impacting any type of, money problems. So that's just an option. That's prime football or other sports to help from the town.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut off this conversation for right now because we've got 15 minutes left and there's a couple of other items that I want to get through. But what I think we need to do, Bob, is so maybe not next meeting, but the October meeting. You and I can talk on if we want to just dedicate the entire agenda to this, and we can brainstorm, we can take down ideas. If we want to put together some slides, kind of like what we were doing with the 4th of July parade, we can do that, divvy up people in positions, hey, go talk to these people, and we can just start putting some ideas together, and then we'll just move forward from there. I know it's early, but one thing that, Bob and I know from the parade is the earlier you start, the better it is.
Thankfully, it's a good start.
Yeah, the closer you get, then the more stressed out you get. But I think we have a lot of contacts built with the parade that we can definitely reach out to and things like that. So I think we're in a good position. So I'll put this on the next agenda in September. But what I ask is if we've got like some big ideas that we want to talk about, feel free to email it to us. And then we'll put that together, and then we'll just dedicate an entire meeting to talk about the memorial event. And that'll be in October. So it'll give us 2 months to think through it all. The next thing I want to talk about is Hometown Hero banners. So Jeff and I met with Evan last Friday, and Jeff wants to put together Hometown Heroes banners that can go up on the what do you call it? The attachments on the poles. Yep. Evan was all for it. Evan was saying that we'll have to look at budgeting and things. The initial thought, and Jeff's going to put together what this is going to look like, and he'll kind of run it and we'll support him. But the initial thought is that we'll send out a notification that, hey, families can do this, that they would pay for the banner itself, and then we would hang it. We may be able to set some money aside for families that maybe can't afford the banner, or they're on hard times and they still want to do this, but they don't have the money for it. So we'll make sure that this will go out to everyone. And Jeff and I agree. We talked about not pushing this out until Memorial Day. He was trying to get it out in Veterans Day, but I was afraid it was too close. Yeah. We want to do this right. So once he gets back with me and lets me know he has everything in order, I think he was going to pull over like West Burroughs or one of his other towns that has one. He's going to pull over their information, and then we'll put something together and we'll start pushing that out to all the veterans.
Justin, where would we hang said banner? So we've got 3 sections of town, and it would probably have to be someplace representative, one place representative of all 3.
Well, we were talking about where the Grafton Home for the Holidays banners are held. Have you seen those blue ones with the snowmen on it?
I don't remember the location though.
They're along Providence Road going up into the Common. And we've already got, I think they hang flags from them too. I can't remember, but those blue banners are definitely there. So around Christmas, if you look up, leaving from Stop and Shop, heading up towards the Common, you'll see them hanging from all the telephone poles. Okay. That stuff is already there. DPW has the mounting hardware already. So we'll just need to get banners that fit on it. But there's some things that we'll need that Evan and Jeff were kind of talking about. And Jeff was going to reach out to the DPW as well for some information.
My wife just hit me with something maybe relevant, maybe not. One of our churches, St. James South Grafton, wanted to hang a banner similar on Worcester Street going up to the Common, and the town says we do not allow banners.
They don't allow banners in between the 2 buildings. But these aren't full-size banners. They're just little flags, if you will. Westboro has them. It'll have a picture of the veteran, and it just has like their name and maybe their service dates or something.
Okay.
And they're really small. Well,
Are they individual banners
Yeah.
yes,
versus,
yeah,
versus one that goes across the road?
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say maybe they're like 2 feet long and maybe about 1.5 feet wide.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And they'll just, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But these will just hang on the telephone poles going up into town. And then I think there's a couple around the common that you can hang these up at as well.
Right.
So, yeah. So Jeff is running that piece. He'll keep us in the loop. And so more to come on that. He was going to try to make tonight's meeting, but we were talking and he might not be able to. So as he gets more information, I'll make sure I share it.
Okay.
Any questions on those? All right. Then we have the National Night Out event on 1 August. Andy, Sean, and I manned our booth. Bob decided he wasn't going to help us out. He decided GCTV was better and cooler than our little booth with Andy's homemade signs on it. We did have a lot of good information and stuff. We had some good conversations with a few folks. We're still running into people that don't know we exist. So just getting the word out and things like that. Now that we have the funding, Andy and I were talking about, we need to get some things, we need to get tablecloth, we need to get some signs, we need to get some other things. Sean has a couple of ideas of what we can do as well to put stuff out there. We have a lot of information. I mean, the table was full of pamphlets and brochures and things like that. But we just unfortunately look a little disorganized when it's just sitting there and we've got rocks holding everything down. So I think, one of the things that we'll need to look at is what all do we want to do for those kind of meet and greets going forward. But other than that, yeah, it was great. It was a great event. We'll need to get Sean in the dunk tank next time. He was jealous that he couldn't be up there. Andy said he was going to hit him in.
You need somebody that'll make a splash. Who's game?
We'll put Lucas up there.
Yeah.
I try to bribe the police chief, but he wasn't taking it up in that night.
No, he knew he had to do an interview with Bob. Sean, you have something?
You said on one item, it's called table skirts
Table skirts.
that you
Yeah.
to wrap around, and if we could maybe find one that has maybe DAV or someone like that already has something in their arsenal that we could beg, borrow, or steal instead of spending our money on it, but
It's a
something
good
that
idea.
already says armed forces or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it.
I will say though that the Worcester DA office had a whole little setup. So if they have a setup, I kind of feel like we need to have some kind of setup.
Yeah. Gotta be professional about this.
Right. Exactly. So any questions, comments on the National Night Out?
The only thing I have, Justin, is I think we should get there a little bit earlier, and then we can get the front of the tent and where everybody walks by instead of the side street we were on.
I agree. Yep, I agree with that. So, but this was the first time we did it, so we got a lot of. We find out that you are not assigned a table. It's first come, first served, and maybe at the same time, it seemed like there were people just setting up their own tables. So if that's an option as well, we can always set up our own table.
Standalone booth someplace and forget a tent.
Exactly. So I think that there's a lot of good ideas that we can come up with going forward on how we want to do these things. And I still would like to do maybe another meeting green in front of Stop and Shop because I know that y'all had a lot of success with that last year.
Yes. After we get our table skirts.
After we get the table skirt.
That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
All right. So the last thing that I asked Bob to give this spill, and we're going to hear it twice. We're going to hear it today, and we're going to hear it in trustees. There's been getting some feedback in the way that the committees do business. Sean has had some issues with people talking over each other and things like that. So now that we're getting bigger, you know, when we were a smaller committee, it wasn't really too bad. The quorum wasn't as big of a deal, but now that we're getting bigger and we have 2 other potential people who may be joining us here soon as well, ask Bob to give a decorum talk to us all. So we understand and we're making sure that we're abiding by all the committee rules and that we're making Sean's life easier whenever he's having to do the minutes and things like that. So Bob, I turn it over to you.
Yeah, we'll start with Sean. So the clerks are responsible for the minutes and sending those off to the town clerk. So part of our responsibility as a committee is to make sure that the minutes are recorded properly and accurately so that Sean is not actively in the middle of the meeting stopping and asking who said what when. So let me go back to the beginning. This probably should have been titled protocols. Now that we're a year into being stood up as a committee and we have our feet under us, we need to kind of polish our image a bit. So protocols cover making sure that Sean can record accurate minutes. For the most part, we don't have heated discussions, but we do get excited because we're passionate about the topics that we discuss. And we have to be mindful of the fact that every time one of us steps over the other person to talk, that's where it gets confusing for Sean to record minutes. So, you know, I just request that one of the protocols we follow is just wave at the screen so Sony can see it, and then, you know, everybody gets a turn to talk. The other protocols are, as a committee, everything, obviously, if you watch any committee recordings from town, all functions go through the chair. And so proposals, ideas, requests for funding, everything goes through the chair. And then as far as the town of Grafton is concerned, the protocol is they want one line of communication direct to the town from the chair. So department heads expect to hear from committees that they do business with directly from the chair. Departments in town that have business with specific committees, they only want to be contacted by the chair. So it's just a question of us, as I said, polishing up our act and falling in line with the protocols that are expected to follow. It's pretty simple stuff. I mean, we follow most of them now. We're not an unruly mob. I shared an email with Holly that we talked about when Justin sends out an email that's addressed to all of us. It's probably for the best to not reply all. It's best to reply just to Justin, and then he can disseminate whatever information is in the email. And I believe, somebody can correct me, but I believe the reason why you would be doing that is so that that group email is not misconstrued as a meeting. Because if everybody's participating in it, and you don't have a posted agenda, you could be, you know, brought before the ethics board, for example. So when you get a group email, just answer to one person. And if we're doing our best to try and follow rules and trying to follow protocols, then we'll be fine. That's all it is. And then the protocols for funding and for financial, I'll get those answers tomorrow, and we'll have more to talk about the next time we meet. That's it. I'm done.
Thank you, Bob. Nobody's nothing negative has come out directed towards us. This is just us getting ahead of it. I do know we've had some issues. Sean's had some issues getting the minutes, and as we're starting to do more business with the town, that is some stuff that they're really starting to crack down on. It's the same as they want annual. They would like committees coming in front of them, tell them what all is going on. And that's something that we're trying to do as well. So I've asked Bob, because he's familiar with a lot of these. He records all the committees. I've asked Bob to keep us in check. He did that with me earlier when I was trying to move on without a vote. So Bob will make sure that we're following all the procedures properly. The email thing is a great example. So don't take it negatively. It's nothing like that. It's just making sure that all the rules, we're following the rules as best we can. Andy, did you have something?
Yeah, one thing with regard to the budget, when I was on the disposals and sales with our little committee, we had to keep track of what we spent money on throughout the whole year. We would, at the end, after April or whenever they're doing budgets for the new fiscal year, we would go in and have a meeting with the town manager and finance people, and we would tell them where we spent our money and how much money we thought we'd need going forward. And they would then vote on some portion of that coming to us. But if we're just sitting waiting for what they're going to give us, that's what we'll get. Okay, we have to more or less funnel all of our thoughts to one person, that'd be you, Justin, and go to those meetings and tell them what we plan to do and why we need more money than we have now.
Okay, that's good to know.
The other thing is, this whole meeting, I believe, goes on YouTube, and anybody can look at it. So yes, we do need some organization, and I'll put my foot in my mouth most of the time because I'm always cutting in someplace. It's a very good idea to raise your hand and have, where do you want to see it, the left hand or the right hand? Because that you'll have to get that from the same location from everybody so that everybody can participate. But it has to be orderly. We can't be running over ourselves because other people besides us are going to listen to this.
Yep.
Okay.
Bob, you had something? Bob, you had something?
Part of that protocol process, and Andy just mentioned, talking about financial, we're talking about budgets. If we grow to the point where it's more than just a few $100s, if it's more than a few $1,000s, you're theoretically going before finance committee also and explaining, yes, hey, we spent $3,000 last year. This is what we spent it on. This is what we're passionate about. And then those recommendations from FinCom, work hand in hand with the town administrator's office when the budget is created. So yeah, Andy's right. We have to find ways to spend the money, and we will get big enough where the treasurer will be busy, and the treasurer will probably meet with FinCom. So it's a good thing. And one other thing that popped into my head just last second, Sean's role as the clerk at the we're also probably going to be asked to report to prepare an annual report. Which is kind of like a set of minutes for what we did over the calendar year. And then in that report would be, well, we spent $100 on X and $300 on Y. And so keep that in the back of your mind to keep your minutes handy so that you can refer to them as the year goes on.
Bob, it's got one more piece in it, and that's how many people work with you on each of these projects and perhaps how many hours it is spent. And as you're in the middle of something, it's kind of difficult to do that, but you got to clear your mind and write it down so that it's recorded somewhere.
Exactly right. 14 Cub Scouts participated, 27 citizens stepped forward.
Yep.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, exactly right.
So, Bob, Andy, I'll send out an email to y'all me, I'm all about templates and guides, and let's get that stuff organized. So I'll work with y'all to, whether it's a template that the town already has, or if it's something else that we can design that would make it easy for us to just keep track of going forward. But Bob?
Annually, Cindy Ide in the town administrator's office will send out requests for that annual report. And it's pretty cut and dry what the format should be, what size the font should be, where the indentations are. So I'll talk to her and
okay,
send a sample to Sean so he knows what he's looking at. So.
Yeah, because if we just put some, whether it's just an Excel sheet that we can just keep a running tally of and make sure that we're updating it, whether it's every meeting, we just have a little say, hey, let's make sure we update it or what. But then that way we're not struggling at the end of the year trying to remember, like you pointed out. So any other questions? Sean, you had something?
Just a quick note on the communication with the TA office or whatever. When we are going to buy something or spend money, rather, just like the printing for our letters going out, we go to the folks at the town hall and say, this is what we'd like to do. And they may say, hey, listen, well, let us pick that up for you, as opposed to us pulling it out of our budget. And then it saves us having to go back and, as Andy said, talk to finance and say, listen, we need bigger funding. You always have to justify why you want more money. But if there's, again, a mechanism within the town already, when we're going to appropriate something, maybe another department buys it, and because it's for the town use anyway. So
right.
That's all.
Holly, did you have something? I saw you came off mute.
Yeah, I apologize. I can't raise my hand.
Yeah,
so
no
I will
worries.
get next. But I recommend like take it or leave it. This capability in Zoom, like I can't raise our hand. We all have technical issues, but I would just recommend like some sort of idea in the future of doing this in person if we can, like even if it's not every month. But
Yep.
I don't like, in my opinion, virtual type stuff, and I deal with it all day, but I don't use Zoom. I do Teams, but I think it would be more beneficial if we can do this in person, if able to, and help with minutes organization. So go ahead, Bob.
So Stoney and I were talking about that. We're going to try and come up with a solution to do an in-person meeting that we can record for Zoom. So stay tuned. We'll keep you up to date.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, there's actually, unless anybody has anything else about the decorum, that actually rolls into the next meeting topic.
When do you propose to reschedule soldiers and sailors? We have an outstanding thing with the flagpole.
Yeah. So how does everybody feel about next Thursday?
I will be on vacation, but I can participate.
Okay.
I'm also.
So 24th at 7 o'clock work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll get that gives me time to get the new, or update the agenda. Bob, if you can make a Zoom link for me tomorrow, we'll get the agenda out. Speaking on well, let's finish this. I'll come back to agendas. So next, the trustees will be August 24th at 7 o'clock. You will see an agenda go out to the clerk's office. I'm not going to change, so it won't come out for changes. The agenda will be as posted last time. We'll just have a new updated day. Bob, you and I will need to talk if this is driving an update or if this is a completely new agenda. And then Sean, I know that there's some minute stuff that you have to put in because we canceled the meeting. So I don't know if we have to do all of that, but if the three of y'all, if the two of y'all can, we'll sort through that tomorrow so we can make sure we get the new agenda up.
Okay.
As far as the in-person, so the next Veterans Advisory Committee, this meeting is scheduled for Thursday, September 21st at 7 o'clock. The plan and what Bob and I are going to attempt to do before that is we've talked about using the GCTV conference room studio. The problem is we have to record it because I also want to do a Zoom that can't make it if you're out. And then doing that, there's not a lot of Zoom areas that can record within the building. So you're kind of fighting the schedule. So we're going to try to do that for the next meeting. So just be on the lookout. If you don't see it, and I'll do my best to communicate this, if you don't see it, it's because we're still struggling with the technology. But I wanted to give everybody that option or let you know heads up. Lucas.
Just a heads up, I will be doing weapons qual for the military at the Cape, so I probably won't be able to make that meeting.
Okay.
I'll maybe virtually, but signal spotty there. I don't know if I'll be able to.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Stoney, what day was that? Oh, sorry.
Thursday, September 21st.
Go ahead, Holly. I can wait.
It's Thursday, September 21st at 7 o'clock.
Thank you.
I was going to say, did you notice Lucas's Army Native Labs haircut?
One other thing. So I send out the agenda twice. The first time, the Zoom link, and I'm just going to start erasing the agenda, the Zoom link on the first draft that I send out. But that's your opportunity to tell me if you agree with the agenda, if you have some changes and stuff, and that'll typically go out a week before the meeting. And then as we get closer, so usually about Wednesday, so I'll send that out maybe on the weekend. So somewhere between Friday and Monday, you'll see the draft agenda. And then usually by Wednesday, I'm trying to get it to the clerk's office. And that will have the actual Zoom link. So it's that, and that goes directly to the clerk. So if it's not going to you, it's going to the clerk. That is the final agenda that has the appropriate link. Bob?
Will that be 48 hours though?
Yes, because this is all the week before.
Oh, okay.
Stoney, we can work together and make sure that no matter how many times you send out the agenda, it's got the active link.
Yeah.
But you and I just have to coordinate that. That's going to be an easy fix. So that no matter which agenda you ended up jumping off of, it'll have a live link.
Good.
That's no big deal.
And the other thing that I want to let people know on as far as agendas go is, so Bob and I have been talking about, I've had a lot of technology issues. Andy and I talked about this on Tuesday. It has been a struggle. There has been emails that haven't gotten through. I haven't gotten emails. Things haven't worked for me. So you may start seeing Bob send out the final agendas. Just to make sure, because sometimes I can't check my email while I'm at work and I come home and it's really late. So Bob may be taking that over for me in the future. So just if you see it from either one of us, take it as that is the agenda. And we make sure that we put in, like I said, that final agenda with everything that works. That is the final agenda. It goes directly to the clerk's office. So if you see it going to the clerk's office, you can take that agenda as gospel. That's what they're going to post. Any last minute rounds, questions, comments?
So Stoney, just one question about the distro group. Are we ever going to get that fixed, or are we just going to do the individual emails?
So the distro, Sean, are you getting the distros?
Yeah.
I think the distro is fixed. I have purposely not included everybody on some of the emails that I've sent out, and people have responded back to me. So I don't see an issue with the distro. And I'm sorry, one last thing that I said I would touch, and I forgot it, and I just remembered. When you see that draft agenda, if there is a reason that you can't make that meeting, or you think you might not be able to make that meeting, please let me know. I canceled the July meeting because not enough people had taken the oath, and people were going to miss that meeting. And Andy brought up, maybe we don't do a meeting in July, and it gives people a break, a vacation. So we may do that going forward. But if you let me know as soon as possible if you're not going to be at the next meeting, so I can go ahead and see if we're going to have a quorum. And if we're not, then we'll either look for a new date, or we'll just postpone the meeting to the next month. It's very easy. It's easier than setting up everything with the meeting and then going in and not having the quorum. So that's the last thing I have. Any other comments?
One last.
Andy?
Sorry, Bob. I'm bigging you up. Yeah, and I forgot what I was going to say. That's all right. That's old age, guys. Right here tells you.
If you remember it, you can bring it up at next Thursday at our next meeting. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second? Second. Okay, motion to adjourn for voting. Bob?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Lucas?
Aye.
Holly?
Aye.
Justin is aye. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all, and I will see you all on Thursday.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.